What if the reason your new car feels harder to use isn't progress? It's cost cutting. For years, automakers stripped out buttons, spare tires, dipsticks, and even simple mechanical backups. They told us it was innovation. But crash data, customer complaints, and plummeting resale values tell a different story. Drivers are getting distracted, repair bills are climbing, and basic breakdowns are turning into $1,000 problems. Now regulators are stepping in. Manufacturers are quietly reversing decisions they swore were the future. The question is, what did they remove from your car that shouldn't have disappeared in the first place? Before we begin, hit the like and subscribe button and comment below which function you want back in your car. Number 11. Physical buttons are being forced back. For years, manufacturers treated physical buttons like they were outdated technology. Everything moved into touchscreens, climate controls, audio, even basic safety functions. The promise was simplicity. The reality was distraction. Drivers were forced to swipe through menus just to adjust temperature or activate defrost. It looked modern in a showroom. It felt dangerous at highway speed. Now regulators are stepping in. Safety agencies in Europe announced that starting in 2026, vehicles will lose safety rating points if essential functions are buried inside screens. Indicators, hazard lights, horn, wipers, emergency systems, they must be accessible instantly. And since safety ratings directly impact sales, manufacturers are reversing course fast. New models are already restoring tactile climate panels and proper switchgear, not because design teams changed philosophy, because ignoring driver usability finally started costing them real money. Number 10. The spare wheel is quietly returning. The spare wheel didn't disappear because it was outdated. It disappeared because it saved manufacturers money. Instead, we got run-flat tires and foam repair kits. On paper, it sounded innovative. In reality, it meant harsher ride quality, expensive replacements, and being stranded when the damage was too severe for sealant to fix. Run flats cost significantly more than standard tires. Mobility kits permanently destroy the tire after use. And in rural areas, finding the exact replacement can turn a simple puncture into a full-day nightmare. Customers noticed. Resale values reflected it. Complaints flooded forums. Now some manufacturers are reversing course. Newer models are offering space-saver spares again, sometimes as standard, sometimes as a low-cost option. It's not a full surrender yet, but it's a clear admission. The simple steel wheel in your trunk was never the problem. Removing it was. Number 9. Real climate control panels are coming back. Climate controls were the first real casualty of the touchscreen obsession. For decades, every car had 3 simple knobs. Temperature, fan speed, air direction. You could adjust them by feel, without taking your eyes off the road. Then designers decided flat glass looked more premium. Suddenly, changing the temperature required tapping a screen, waiting for a menu, sliding a digital bar, and hoping you hit the right spot while driving at highway speed. It wasn't innovation, it was distraction disguised as progress. Drivers pushed back immediately. Reviews criticized usability. Safety studies highlighted longer glance times, and manufacturers are now restoring proper physical panels. New models are reintroducing rotary knobs and tactile buttons for climate and audio. Even brands that went fully touch are reversing course, because climate control isn't infotainment, it's a core driving function, and burying it in software was a mistake. Number 8. The oil dipstick is fighting its way back. Eliminating the oil dipstick might be the most unnecessary innovation of the past 2 decades. A simple metal strip that costs almost nothing to produce was replaced by an electronic sensor buried inside the oil pan. Drivers were told to trust the screen, trust the algorithm, trust the warning message. The problem is sensors fail. Oil level readings fluctuate. And when they do, you're left guessing whether your engine is safe or seconds away from damage. Without a dipstick, there's no independent way to verify what the computer claims. That uncertainty doesn't sit well with owners. Some manufacturers quietly kept dipsticks on higher-end engines while removing them from mainstream models. Others are now acknowledging service accessibility concerns as right-to-repair laws gain momentum. The dipstick hasn't fully returned yet, but the conversation has shifted. Drivers want visibility, not blind faith in software. If you're still watching, you actually care about what's happening to modern cars. That matters, because manufacturers pay attention to trends, data, and engagement. So hit like and subscribe. It tells the algorithm this. Conversation matters. Number 7. Naturally aspirated engines refuse to die. Turbocharging was sold as the perfect solution. Smaller engines, more power, better fuel economy. On paper, it worked. In real-world driving, the picture was more complicated. Turbo engines add heat, pressure, extra plumbing, and more potential failure points. Intercoolers, boost lines, wastegates, high-speed turbines spinning at extreme temperatures. When they work, they're impressive. When they don't, repairs aren't cheap. Many drivers also noticed something else. The promised fuel savings often disappear under normal driving conditions, especially when boost kicks in. Naturally aspirated engines may not dominate spec sheets, but they deliver linear power, fewer components, and long-term reliability. Some manufacturers never fully abandon them. Others are maintaining naturally aspirated options in specific models where durability matters more than headline horsepower. They're not the industry trend anymore, but they're proof that simplicity still has a market. Number 6. The manual handbrake is becoming rare. The manual handbrake used to be universal, a simple lever connected by a cable to the rear brakes. Pull it up, the car stays put. If it loosened over time, you adjusted the cable. Cheap, mechanical, reliable. Then electronic parking brakes replaced it with a small switch. Press a button and motors engage the rear calipers automatically. It sounded convenient. Auto hold at traffic lights, cleaner interior design, but the trade-off was complexity. When an electronic parking brake fails, it often requires diagnostic tools and dealer-level repair. A manual cable system could be fixed in minutes. There's also the loss of mechanical control. A traditional handbrake offered a direct backup if hydraulic brakes failed. The electronic version depends on software and actuators responding correctly. Some budget and enthusiast models still keep the lever alive. Number 5. Hydraulic steering versus electric steering. Hydraulic power steering wasn't flashy, but it delivered something modern systems struggle to replicate: feedback. The fluid-driven system gave drivers a direct mechanical connection to the road. You could feel grip levels changing through the wheel. Electric power steering replaced it to improve fuel economy and reduce engine drag. It's lighter, more efficient, and easier to integrate with driver assist technology, but early systems felt numb and artificial. Steering became lighter, quieter, and less communicative. Manufacturers have spent years tuning electric systems to mimic the old hydraulic feel, and some have improved dramatically. Still, the original simplicity is gone. Hydraulic racks are nearly extinct in new vehicles. This isn't a feature that's fully returning, but manufacturers are finally prioritizing steering feel again instead of pure efficiency numbers. Because drivers noticed when the connection to the road disappeared. Number 4. Features that should have never become optional. For years, manufacturers played a pricing game. Advertise a low starting price, then strip the base model. Floor mats became optional. Reversing cameras cost extra. Basic safety tech was locked behind higher trims. Even spare wheels and metallic paint were turned into add-ons. It made brochures look competitive, but buyers quickly realized the real price was thousands higher once essentials were added. Regulation has forced part of this reversal. Safety equipment like emergency braking and reversing cameras is now mandatory in many regions. Brands can't charge extra for what the law requires, but competitive pressure is doing the rest. Value-focused manufacturers began offering strong standard equipment, forcing rivals to respond. Customers started comparing base trims, not just badges, and slowly, standard specification lists are improving again. Not out of generosity, out of necessity. Still here? Then you've probably been frustrated by at least one of these changes yourself. If you believe cars should work for drivers, not against them, subscribe right now. The bigger this community gets, the harder it becomes for manufacturers to ignore it. Number 3. Front fog lights are quietly returning. Front fog lights didn't disappear because they stopped working. They disappeared because accountants decided modern LED headlights were good enough. Adaptive beams, matrix lighting, automatic high beams. On paper, these systems made dedicated fog lamps unnecessary, but anyone who has driven through dense fog, heavy rain, or snow knows the difference. Fog lights sit lower and cast a wide beam that cuts beneath the mist instead of reflecting back into your eyes. When manufacturers deleted them, they often replaced the housing with plastic trim or parking sensors. It looked cleaner, it saved money, but in real-world weather, drivers felt the downgrade immediately. Now some brands are restoring them as optional equipment, while others are integrating fog functionality into advanced LED systems more effectively. It's not a full comeback yet, but the industry is acknowledging that weather doesn't care about minimalist design trends. Number 2. Manual gearboxes refuse to disappear. The manual transmission was supposed to be extinct by now. Automatics are faster. Dual clutch systems shift in milliseconds. CVTs improve efficiency. From a performance and emissions standpoint, the business case for manuals collapsed. Take rates dropped into single digits in many markets. manufacturers quietly removed the third pedal from mainstream models. But something interesting happened. In enthusiast segments, manuals held their ground. Drivers who care about engagement kept buying them. Some performance models retained the option after strong customer demand. It's no longer the default choice. It's a statement, a deliberate decision by buyers who value involvement over convenience. Manuals are unlikely to return across the board. That shift is permanent, but they haven't vanished either. Number 1, the right to maintain and understand your own car. This is the biggest shift of all. For years, vehicles became sealed systems, diagnostics locked behind proprietary software, components coded to the vehicle so only dealers could replace them. Even basic maintenance procedures required electronic resets. Ownership started feeling more like a subscription, but that strategy created backlash. Drivers pushed for right-to-repair laws. Regulators began requiring longer parts availability and greater access to diagnostic information. Independent repair shops fought back, and manufacturers are slowly adjusting. Simpler service procedures are returning. Documentation is becoming more accessible. Physical controls are being prioritized again because usability is tied to safety ratings. The message is clear. Drivers don't want to rent their own cars. They want to understand them, maintain them, and fix them when necessary. This isn't nostalgia, it's practicality. And for the first time in years, the industry is being forced to listen. If this breakdown opened your eyes, hit the like button so more drivers see it. Subscribe to Car Failure Files because we're not done holding the industry accountable. And before you leave, watch our next video on the hidden reset tricks most drivers don't know about. Drop a comment below and tell me which feature you want back the most.